The 1850s, and the then world's most precious metal is discovered in the fledgling Australian nation. The boom that followed was to last until the turn of the century, providing early Australia with the highest living standard in the world. And all this before today's leading gold producer, South Africa, had even unearthed its first nugget in 1886. Australia was truly built on gold, and its premier gold-producing company, Western Mining Corporation, boasts the same origins. For more than half a century, the Western Mining Group of companies has built an enviable reputation in the fields of gold exploration, mine technology and management, safety, and environmental considerations. Western mining means gold, not only to the tens of thousands of Australians who proudly hold shares in their country's major gold miner, but to the worldwide mining industry. Its watched WMC emerged from the dusty goldfields of Kalgoorlie to become a diversified miner, operating across Australia, in Fiji, the United States, Canada, Brazil, and elsewhere. The group's origins go back to 1930, when Melbourne financier William Sidney Robinson, due to the then difficult financial times, anticipated an expansion of the gold industry through a devaluation of the Australian currency and subsequent rise in the price of the yellow metal. Our first name, Gold Mines of Australia Limited. Mount Coolin in Queensland provided the first ore crushing for Robinson's new company in an operation that lasted only 7 years. It was during this same period that interest in Western Australian prospects was developing rapidly, and on March the 2nd, 1933, Western Mining Corporation was established to manage the company's operations in that state. The Triton gold mine was the first, to be followed by other leases around Kalgoorlie and the important Central Norseman Gold Corporation. In the eastern states, under the Gold Mines of Australia banner, the most significant operations were the Morning Star mine and the Victorian Gold Dredging Company at Newstead. Over the ensuing 2 decades, the company grew and prospered. Under the able management of the likes of Lindsay Clark, later to become Sir Lindsay, the company earned a reputation of lean, efficient, but safe mine management. In 1954, the fixed gold price and the rising costs of mining and treatment led WMC to diversify into the search for other base minerals, with subsequent successful discoveries of bauxite, iron ore, talc, and later nickel deposits. By now, the company had an established history of employing only the very best professionals, and its top-class geological team, supported by extremely competent engineers and metallurgists, were swung into these new fields of endeavor. The ensuing years have confirmed the timing of that decision and the expertise of the Western mining team. The company is now internationally recognized as a successful and entrepreneurial mining house, with substantial interests not only in gold, but also nickel, bauxite, copper, uranium, talc, and oil.
In the last 7 to 8 years, we have invested very significantly in gold. We have dedicated a lot of our effort, particularly our exploration effort, into gold, and we have been very successful. We wish to make money from gold mining, but we need to do it balanced against our other assets, and we need to do it with a view to the long term, rather than just looking at short-term opportunities from time to time. Our production will continue to increase quite dramatically. At about this time, in early 1988, we are producing at a rate in excess of 400,000 ounces a year on our own account. Recently, we've made acquisitions in Canada, the United States, and as at present levels of production, that would add something in excess of 200,000 ounces to our existing capacity. I think the great feature about Western Mining is, in fact, its people asset. It's a young company. It's kept itself thinking young, and the average age of its geoscientists, of its managers, of its mine managers, is relatively young, having regard to the practice of the industry generally.
Over in the west, in the state that gave our company its name, a range of mining and exploration activities continues to form a substantial part of WMC's mineral investments. Gold mining is now becoming a significant activity at Kambalda, where WMC established its nickel mining activities in the late 1960s. In 1979, when the price of gold was rising, we initiated exploration in this region and accelerated that exploration in 1980. Significant gold mineralization was discovered in the Victory area, south from Lake Lefroy. In April of 1981, WMC commenced open pit mining, and the following year a decline was started to gain access to underground ore deposits. Since then, additional mines have been established in the Defiance, Orchin, Junction and Cave Rocks areas. The Defiance and Orchin open cuts at Kambalda have been redesigned and expanded to enable mining to a greater depth. WMC has always believed in keeping up with, if not pioneering, the latest technology to extract optimum efficiency from its mines. For instance, changes in design and in the grade control techniques at these mines have enabled the cut-off grade to be lowered even further. And in the underground mines, we've made significant advances in understanding the structural controls on ore localization. A move that's greatly enhanced our ability to identify exploration targets.
Kambalda's ore reserves as far as the gold are improving rapidly, certainly at a far greater rate than we are mining. And I believe Kambalda has the potential to match the Golden Mile in Kalgoorlie in gold ore reserves.
At the end of 1987, we commenced construction on a new gold treatment plant just south of Kambalda. The St Ives gold plant has been sited closer to our gold mining operations to reduce haulage costs. Once again, efficiency is one of our prime aims. From 1988 onwards, this plant will be producing at an initial rate of 200,000 ounces of gold per year, with production rising in subsequent years. Encouraging exploration results indicate that this region will become a major gold-producing province for both the company and the nation. The gold production in the St Ives Kambalda region complements the existing WMC nickel operations and the previously established town, administration and technical support facilities which the company built in this area in the late 1960s as part of that nickel operation.
Kalgoorlie and northeastern goldfields weather fine with southwesterly winds. The fire danger rating is high and the outlook is for slightly warmer conditions tomorrow. To travel information, and the Pioneer coach from Perth passes through Kambalda at 4:20. Currently on the goldfields, 33 degrees at 4:05. Good afternoon.
At Lancefield, 300 kilometres north of Kalgoorlie, exploration has discovered an extension of this famous ore body. The existing open cut and underground operations are to be complemented by a new underground decline operation. This will provide access to the Lancefield deeps, where mining will be carried out by electric hydraulic jumbos and ore transported by 35-ton diesel trucks. WMC's interests in this region are extensive and include a number of major advanced gold exploration prospects. 260 kilometres further north is the Emu open cut mine and the Emu South joint venture, in which WMC has a 75% interest. Our 50% owned but wholly managed Central Norseman gold operation has an important role in Western Mining Corporation's gold mining history. Central Norseman has produced over 3.4 million ounces of gold and during its life has generated more than $114 million in dividends for shareholders.
The history of Western Mining Corporation has seen gold as the cornerstone of its development, and Central Norseman has contributed a great deal towards that development. The profits which were generated at Central Norseman Gold Corporation during the 1950s and the 1960s, and again in the 1980s, enabled Western Mining to continue its ongoing exploration program and played a major part in the subsequent diversification and expansion program. Central Norseman has been in continuous production since it was established in March 1935 and has given Western Mining over 50 years' experience in underground gold mining management. The extensive exploration program at Central Norseman has continued to turn up new ore reserves suitable to both underground and open cut operations, and these will ensure that Central Norseman will continue its major contribution to Western Mining's activities.
Increased understanding of the Norseman geology and improvements in exploration techniques continue to add new ore reserves, some suited to open-cut mining, others to deep mining methods. Far to the northwest of Kalgoorlie, in the Murchison goldfield, is WMC's Hill 50 gold mine and the nearby town of Mount Magnet. This is another mine and another community that's benefited from our company's gold mining management expertise. In 1980, WMC was invited to take over the management of the historical mine. Since then, its profitability has been re-established, new ore reserves identified, and the town of Mount Magnet is once again back on its feet and prospering. Of course, let's not forget the Mammoth multi-mineral Olympic Dam project in South Australia. This 51% owned uranium, copper and gold site will further boost the annual gold output for Western Mining. Our spread of gold interests puts us well and truly at the forefront of world gold miners. It's a highly competitive industry, but by selecting and grooming the very best people in the geological, mining, metallurgical, engineering and management areas, WMC has achieved a standard that's recognized by our peers as among the highest in the world. We constantly strive to improve our efficiency. To this end, WMC supports research and development programs in all fields of exploration, mining and metallurgy. Current mining operations and the new projects under consideration are all testimony to WMC's investments in exploration activity. Our exploration successes have been due to sustained exploration programs over many years. These stem from our own research and use of the very latest technology, grassroots fieldwork, and above all, the expertise and knowledge of our team of people in the WMC Exploration Division. That type of commitment has taken us into the Pacific and into North and South America. In Fiji, WMC manages joint ventures at Vatakula and the Tavua Basin. The company was invited to invest in this project and take over the management in 1983. Within 4 years, WMC has turned around the declining fortunes of these operations, tripled gold production, and vastly increased proven reserves. To North America, where Western Mining Corporation has been active for some time, bringing an Australian influence to such places as the Camp Bird Mine near Ouray in Colorado. This historical mining area has workings nearly 4,000 meters above sea level, one of the highest gold mines in the world. Here, we're calling on our expertise and technical knowledge to locate further ore reserves and to re-establish this region as a gold mining center. In California, the Carson Hill Mine is a recent acquisition. This open-pit heap leaching operation commenced production in 1986 and has an annual output of around 70,000 ounces of gold. The metal is won from mineable open-pit reserves exceeding 16 million tons of ore. In addition to Camp Bird in Colorado and California's Carson Hill Mine, WMC has numerous exploration interests in other parts of the United States, the most advanced of these in the old Tintic mining district. Canada is the latest region in which WMC has extended its area of operation. This has been achieved by the acquisition of a number of companies with existing operations and extensive exploration properties. In Nova Scotia, 2 underground mines, the Forest Hill and Beaver Dam projects are being developed. The ore from these operations will be treated to the central milling facility at Gaze River, with forecast production levels for 1988 of some 45,000 ounces of gold. Production from the Copper Rand and Portage mines in Quebec will be some 100,000 ounces of gold and 11,000 tons of copper. This output will be complemented by an extensive exploration program. In South America, WMC is taking part in Brazil's new gold rush. And this in a country that's been producing the precious yellow metal for more than 3 centuries, and which, at one stage, had mined half of the world's total gold production. Brazil contains large areas of prospective Archean rocks, similar to Australia, and the company is exploring for gold at a number of locations. Back home in Australia, Western Mining has returned to the northern state of Queensland, once the province of gold mines of Australia. 54 years later, we are once again active, this time through the Hodgkinson joint venture, Bull's Pinnacle Gold Prospect, and in the Drummond Basin, Mount Garnet and Charters Towers districts. Across the border in the Northern Territory, our Goodall Gold Project is due to yield 83,000 ounces of gold per year from the commencement of production. This joint venture has proved and probable recoverable ore reserves of 4.3 million tons at a grade of 2.4 grams per ton. Down south in Victoria, where our head office has always been located, Western Mining Corporation is showing a typical modern approach at its Stawell joint venture. As in other parts of Australia, WMC has utilised both open cut and underground techniques to cost-effectively maximise the recovery of gold from the ore deposit. Following the depletion of ore in the Wonga open cut at Stawell, we identified a potential underground resource which is being accessed by decline. WMC now has 2 decline mines developed at this centre, as well as an open cut operation. We've a new gold project underway at Tarnagulla and an advanced development prospect at Clunes. Closer to our Melbourne headquarters is another advanced development prospect at Bendigo, one of the great gold rush districts of 19th century Australia. By 1988, WMC had committed over $30 million to evaluation, dewatering and bulk sampling of the old gold workings. The potential for gold deposits missed by last century's miners at Bendigo are located beneath the urban area. WMC will have to apply its vast mining experience gained over the past half a century to successfully develop these potential deposits under an urban environment. The company's commitment to the application of the latest and most modern technology extends through all phases of our activities, be it exploration, mining, or metallurgical processing operations. WMC's own engineering division is recognized to be at the forefront in the design and construction of gold treatment plants, to the point where their services are sought by other gold mining companies. These custom-built plants are designed to obtain maximum gold extraction from the mined ore. They incorporate the latest crushing, milling and separation techniques, and where appropriate, carbon in pulp or carbon in leach technology. The gold is subsequently smelted at the mine site and poured into bars of bullion, which, in addition to gold, may contain other precious and base metals. The 400-ounce bars of bullion are then sent to a gold refinery, where the impurities are extracted, and new 400-ounce bars of pure gold are produced. These bars at the Perth Mint represent just 1% of WMC's annual gold production. The unique and very positive tax regime on gold mining in Australia, for which WMC has been a strong advocate, has benefited both the company and the nation. The continuation of the federal government's policy not to apply a gold tax will ensure both the future of the Australian gold mining industry and the great benefits in terms of exports and jobs being created by that industry. In Australia, the name Western Mining Corporation is synonymous with gold, and rightly so. We are Australia's premier gold miner and the yellow metal remains the solid foundation upon which our company was built. And what a solid company that's turned out to be. Listed on all Australian and certain European stock exchanges, WMC has assets and investments totaling some $2 billion, with an annual operating revenue of over $600 million. We employ some 5,000 people, mainly in Australia and Fiji, and remain a company managed and controlled by Australians. Western Mining Corporation, the Australian and international mining company that was truly built on gold.